The key to selling more novels isn't about pushing sales. It's about getting people to actually read your book. When readers care enough to finish, review, and recommend, momentum follows naturally. Here's how to build that kind of traction in 3 strategic steps. Let's face it, books aren't expensive. They're not a big purchasing decision. Most readers aren't spending hours debating whether they should spend $2 or even $20 on a book. They are debating whether they're willing to invest their time into reading it. If they're even slightly on the fence about wanting to read a book, they're not likely going to invest money into buying it, with perhaps the exception of supporters who might buy but not read. Even if they're flat broke, they'll get the book from the library, borrow it from a friend, wait for it to be part of Stuff Your Kindle, or yes, they'll find unofficial copies of it. But if they're flat broke, and they want to read the book badly enough, they'll find a way to get it. So in my opinion, the real challenge is not about selling books, it's about getting people to read them. And you need as many people as possible to read your books if you want to increase your sales. This feels counterintuitive for most indie authors who are tracking their progress one book sale at a time because every single sale does matter. But the way to substantially grow sales is not through one sale at a time. It's through one reader at a time. But at the end of the day, isn't making a sale the same as gaining a reader? No, actually it isn't. How many books do you own that you haven't read? Your goal is to gain readers, not sales, because nothing sells more books than word of mouth, and people can't talk about something they haven't read. But you're one person. You're not going to realistically connect with hundreds of thousands of readers, or even tens of thousands of readers, and convince them to buy your book. You need to amass as many readers as possible so that they'll do most of the work for you. And no, the algorithm isn't going to do this for you. Certainly not with any level of ongoing consistency or enthusiasm. In this video, I'm sharing the 3-step strategy behind many breakout novels, and it's not about selling. Back in 2015, 2016, I had several conversations with Andy Weir just as the Martian film based on his book was being released. And as a side note, let me just say he is one hell of a nice guy and patient. Reading back through our messages, I cringed a little. I had no gravitas and bombarded the poor man with so many questions that he patiently and graciously answered. I also read and watched every interview with him that I could get my hands on. He was a mysterious success story at a time when agents were not at all interested in authors who had self-published. The thing that really stood out to me was that Andy didn't set out to make The Martian popular. He'd had earlier manuscripts rejected by the traditional publishing industry years before and had moved on. He continued writing and creating because he enjoyed it. Over the years, he grew an audience for a webcomic and some short stories, and eventually established a readership of about 3,000 people for The Martian through his website. But he never shopped it to agents. Some of his readers wanted it on their Kindle, so he put it on Amazon for their convenience. He wanted to make it free, but Amazon wouldn't allow that, so he put it up for 99 cents. The results from this is what attracted an agent to him and got him both a publishing and movie deal. I'm recording. Lie down. In most interviews, Andy expresses that he doesn't really know what happened, but after studying and researching the industry and many authors, I can tell you what happened. He wrote a solid book and he got readers for that book. No, he was not trying to sell the book or make money on it. There was no marketing or selling pressure or strategy. What he may not have realized at the time is that what he did, quite authentically and innocently, is the best strategy for any fiction author, and the one that most fiction authors resist. He freely shared his passion with like-minded people who became readers. Almost every unexpected success story that I've dug into carries a similar narrative. Even the more recent tale of Audra Winter, which some might say was not a success story, but I'd argue that it still was in the context of this video. The problem was that the widespread pre-release excitement didn't match reader experience. But if it had, the outcome would have been very different. So Step 1 in increasing book sales of a well-written book is to convince people to read it. But how do you do that? You talk about your book. But what does talking about your book actually mean? Because it certainly doesn't mean plastering the title and purchase links all over social media. It means talking about the things you love about your book. Is it the fall aesthetics, the moody vibes, the grumpy versus sunshine tropes? Is it a unique quirk your main character has, or the sassy attitude of a side character, or their brilliant detective skills? And here's a tip: the more things you love about your book, the better. So what fires you up? What do you love? What are you passionate about? What makes your book interesting and worth someone's time? This really can't be stressed enough. The vibes, the tropes, the quirks, the aesthetics, whatever it is that you love will be the things that attract like-minded readers. These are the things that will make readers sit up, pay attention, care, and read. And they'll only invest their time into reading a book if they care enough. But if you don't talk about the things that are going to get readers excited and invested in your book, no one will know about it. No one will get excited. No one will read it. And your sales will be flat. If you're not sure how to talk about your book in a way that sparks curiosity, my content ideas guide can help you come up with and shape engaging post ideas that connect with readers. You'll find the link in the description below. Intentionally building up a network by making connections with like-minded book lovers is also part of this process. Another way to get enough readers is through massive ad spends. This is what big publishers do. They throw enough money into promoting a book so that the masses are aware of it, so that enough people will end up reading it, so that the book will actually make sales. And they do it based on market research that tells them what will resonate with the reader, which is still leaning into talking about the book in a way that makes people care. But doing it through paid ads is a huge gamble, because it is always possible that a book really isn't good enough, or that the masses won't like it. In which case, the power of word of mouth that those ad dollars bought doesn't provide a return on the investment. Which is why big publishers only financially invest in the marketing for a small fraction of lead titles out of the books they publish, based on loads of historical data that they have access to. Bottom line, talk about your book in a way that makes people feel something and care about it. Step 2 of this process is to then focus on getting reviews. Across platforms, it's generally reported that only a small percentage of readers actually leave reviews. Reports range from 1% to 20% and are impacted by many variables. At any rate, you need to get a ton of people reading your book in order to get review numbers that have any impact. So, how do you get reviews? You ask for them and you follow up on the ask. But again, you need to make sure your book is getting into the hands of people who care about it and want to read it. And you do that by tripling down on step 1. It's worth noting that if people are reading your book and you're not getting any reviews, it's likely for one of 3 reasons. Your book is landing in the hands of the wrong readers, and they might not even be reading it. There's a problem with your book, but it's not enough to warrant a negative review, just enough to prevent a positive review. Or there's a problem with your book and it's getting DNF'd. But don't worry, all of these problems are fixable. But in order to be able to ask for reviews and follow up on that ask, you need to be filtering them through your email list. So how do you get people onto your email list? That takes us to step 3. Give your book away for free. Hear me out here. Your goal should be to give away 10,000 copies of your ebook for free. Take a moment to peel yourself off the floor or the ceiling. I'll wait. First, understand that it is highly unlikely that you will achieve this goal. It's a goal to keep you motivated and moving forward. Second, 10K isn't magic. It's shorthand for critical mass. If your goal is to give away 100 copies, you're immediately capping your sales potential. The repeatable pattern to selling more books is exposure, volume, word of mouth, traction. But why would you give away so many copies? Because that's how word of mouth works, and because of the math in step 2 on reviews. If you give away 10,000 copies, and count on a conservative response rate of about 1 to 5% for reviews, it means you should land somewhere between 100 and 500 reviews, which will have a much better impact on word of mouth. Again, this is a goal. You can adjust it along the way depending on the results you get and how fast you get them. If you give away 1,000 copies and get 500 reviews and there's a ton of buzz growing, you can stop giving away copies and see if there's enough momentum. If things grow quiet, put the offer out again. This isn't a one-shot deal, and it's something you can do at any time to revive interest in a book. But you need to do it strategically. You're not looking for the freebie collectors who grab every free book just because they can. You absolutely need to get their email address in exchange for the book. It's also important to note that using most of the free promo services, such as BookFunnel groups, can result in attracting more collectors of books with a low completion and read-through rate, unless you're customizing that approach strategically. So even though you're gaining email addresses this way, it won't necessarily be as effective. And giving your book away for free on Amazon does not put them into your email list and reader pool. And again, it often results in attracting more collectors than dedicated readers. The reason it's so important to get their email addresses is so that you can stay in touch with them to continue to build up hype so that they will actually read the free copy, so that you can follow up with them and encourage reviews, and to promote your next book to them. But how do you get them to go to your website and give you their email addresses? Did you guess it? By doing step 1 really well. Publishing posts that just say things like, my debut self-published novel, title XYZ, releases in 1 month. Looking for beta readers or ARC readers. Get a free copy, help an indie author out. Isn't going to work effectively. For one, a month isn't long enough if you don't already have an audience. Plus, it's a bit of a sympathy play and does nothing to get anyone to care about the book. Yes, other indie authors who want to help the indie community will probably sign up. Some might even read it, and a few might even leave a review. But this is how you end up with low single, double-digit reviews and flat sales. You have to get people excited. You have to make them want the book. You have to get them to care. And it's not going to happen with one social post or the same post saying the same thing 6 times a day. And it is going to take time. So let's bring it all together. Free digital access can spike short-term sales. First in Series Free is a long-standing, data-backed indie tactic for read-through. And case studies like Andy Weir illustrate that reader volume leads to reviews and buzz, which leads to traction. You'll also find the links for additional reading on those points in the description. So, the three steps are: talk about your book, focus on getting reviews, and give away as many copies as you possibly can. If you want to be realistic and serious about making your book a success, finish a terrifically written book, polish it like a professional, and invest in the production like a professional. Choose a release date and then add like 6 to 12 months to that date. Then talk about the book every day for 12 months, with the only goal being to give it away through your website and collect email addresses before it releases. If you hit your subscriber and review goals in less than 12 months, then move your release date up to a sooner date. Trust me, readers won't complain. Now, if you're still in the drafting stages, you can start this process now, even without having a finished book to give away. Instead, it's an IOU. You get them to sign up now with a promise to send them the ebook for free when it's ready. Then you just keep them updated once a month on the progress and with some teasers. If you already have books published and available for sale, you can still do this. Yes, it does mean that the book can't be in KU. The KDP Select program requires full ebook exclusivity during enrollment. But if you're not getting page reads, the limitations of KU aren't really worth it. So once it's done that term, go for it. It doesn't matter if the book is available for purchase. The process of giving away a free ebook version through your website in exchange for an email address is still the same. It's much harder to get people to buy a book they've never heard of and don't care about, and that doesn't have any reviews. If you have a series published, even better. Apply this strategy to the first book and follow up with promos for the next book in the series. If you have multiple standalone books, pick the one that is your strongest book and that you have a logical next best read for, especially if you write across genres. But please understand there are a few critical considerations here. You have to have a good, well-written book. If you do this with a poorly written book, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle to do it again with a better book. If you're not sure about the quality of your book, find a reputable editor in your genre that has a proven track record and can provide references, and pay for an editorial review, even if you paid for professional editing. A second opinion never hurts. This is a non-negotiable if you want this process to work. You must also have a solid digital ecosystem in place. This means social media accounts, a website, and an email list. These need to be integrated, cohesive, and on brand. Without this, you'll have so many holes in your bucket that your efforts will be wasted. You need to plan out reader-centric content that focuses on inviting them into the world of your story. Now, go forth, my friend, and put this into motion. But before you jump into the deep end head first, take the time to plan this out. You want to be putting your best foot forward right from the start. So review your digital ecosystem and take care of any gaps that exist. Get a professional editorial review of your book, set your goals and timeline, plan out your content, and plan out how you'll deliver the free ebook and what your follow-up emails will say and look like. My free Online Presence Self-Audit will guide you through the review of your digital ecosystem, and you can grab that through the link in the description. I do also have other resources available for any of the gaps that you might need to fill. I may be able to offer a recommendation for an editorial reviewer on request as well, so feel free to reach out anytime. Comment below and tell me what your biggest struggle is right now. Getting readers, getting reviews, or getting traction. And if you found this video to be helpful, please be sure to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I'd love to have you here in the community. Until next time, my friend, happy writing.